Roblox FISCH has gone through many changes over the past 2 years since its creation. Starting off as a game that took Roblox by storm, showing what it was capable of. Then, descending into a cheap cash-grabby game tossed aside by its owners, where it would rot with many other Roblox games alike. Then, beating everyone's expectations and having one of the biggest, if not the biggest comeback in Roblox game history. This is the history of Roblox FISCH. Roblox FISCH began where most popular games begin, as a small, insignificant game, created by this guy. You'll probably know him, Nate, Woozy Nate, who has gone through hell with this game. But starting off, Nate's small little fishing game, it didn't really have a lot behind it, and he was experiencing game-breaking bugs when playtesting, and many of his playtesters had all their progress deleted. But he still decided to publish FISCH, which was a risky move, but he did it anyway. On the 6th of October 2024, Nate published FISCH. And at first, it was performing as he expected, around the 500 to 1,000 player mark. But only after 6 days after being published, FISCH suddenly hit its first milestone, the 10,000 players mark. Then only 2 days later, 20,000, then 30,000, 40,000. Then FISCH had its first major update, the 2024 FISCH Fright, which launched the active players to well over 100,000. Then on the 2nd of November, FISCH hit a whopping 150,227 active players. What looked like an overnight success, FISCH blew up, bringing in 100 million visits in just a few weeks. It was everything Nate could have ever wished for. And as Nate kept pushing more and more updates, adding new islands, new fish, rods, and the beloved Megalodon and Ancient Isle update, which is when I and many of you likely began playing FISCH, FISCH was bringing in hundreds of thousands of players any day of the week. Videos of FISCH were getting millions of views, and it was everything Nate could have wished for. Right? While FISCH was being brought to light and was bringing in almost 1 million concurrent players, there were cracks beginning to form. Slip-ups, if you will. Though FISCH on the surface didn't appear as a cash-grabby game or pay-to-win, the monetization was beginning to show. What I could put together, it all started with this guy. We'll call him Evil Do Big Guy. And Evil Do Big Guy sort of came out of nowhere. Though many new admins at the time were introduced through an announcement on the official FISCH Discord server, this guy sort of just showed up. No announcement, no nothing. Evil Do Big Guy was only brought in after Nate made what would become a very dangerous decision. In this announcement, Nate addressed that he has made a deal with no other than Do Big Studios. Oh god. If you've watched my How Did FISCH Die video, I talk about Do Big Studios and how they are some of the greediest little Roblox devs you will ever meet. And Do Big, being Do Big, took advantage of Woozy Nate's overwhelming success and bought a large portion of FISCH, including the development team. Typical. And as soon as Do Big was introduced, they got right to work. On the 15th of December, releasing a FISCH Dumbo Octopus plush, which costed $30 American. Yes, for a octopus. Do Big would also continue this, releasing limited Christmas skins that just costed way too much for what they did. Do Big also introduced things like heavy monetization on limited boats and skins, using sneaky little tactics like fake discounts or limited stock on non-physical items to try press fishers into buying overpriced garbage. Even I got persuaded back then, and I bought a stupid Heavenly Rod skin that literally looks no different to the base, and it costed me 300 Robux. Not including how FISCH just slowly died out, as Do Big did more and more bad updates that sparked controversy in its second C update, which was just really, really bad. FISCH and Do Big released more and more garbage, just straight garbage, for almost 9 months. Like some real hot They did some cheap collabs with brands like Lego, Smurfs, Walmart. Yes, literally Walmart, the company Walmart, in a fishing game. And as the cheap crap updates kept dropping, the player count began to dwindle, slowly dropping off and was left as a remnant of what it used to be. fish will be left here, forgotten forever. Fish was dead, or at least almost. When all hope seemed lost, Nate made what was the biggest announcement in Fish's history. Fish was back. And along with it was this guy, Nick, who was a new co-owner of Roblox FISCH. And without a moment to spare, Nate and Nick began making some major changes to Fish, like removing the second C completely, which on paper sounds bad, but if you have watched literally any videos about the second C update, or even if you played the second C, you'll know it was really bad. Yeah, it was really bad. But even though Fish's ownership had changed, many people thought the deed had been done, and Do Big had just killed Fish. But no, Fish was not done. Fish, when Do Big was running it, was averaging about 10 to 20,000 concurrent players, which sounds like a lot, but really is a fraction of what it used to be before Do Big stepped in. But after Nate and Nick were put in charge, Fish did the one thing it was expected not to do. It came back. Fish slowly began averaging more and more players, even reaching hundreds of thousands of concurrent players per day. Numbers it hadn't seen since December of last year. But Fish was still not done. On the day before Fish's 1-year anniversary, Fish did something insane. Fish had beaten its previous concurrent player record. Yes, over 800,000 people were playing Fish, but Fish was not done. Fish would hit the 1 million concurrent players mark, destroying its old peak in late of November last year. Fish was back, and never did I think Fish would go from one of the biggest games to cash garbage, then back better than before, all in the span of 1 year. Fish nowadays may not have the same amount of concurrent players it did when it was in its prime. Fish today is the healthiest it has ever been. Fish now is in great hands, who are pushing out some really interesting and just fun updates. And even though Do Big is still technically a part of Fish as listed on their website, they do not own the development team. No, they simply own a small share of the game, which is how it should have been all along. Fish would introduce weekly updates, keeping things fresh and giving the tryhards something new to explore every week, while more casual and laid-back players weren't pressured by constant limited time stuff. Fish also pulled back on the monetization a lot. Things were cheaper, there was less advertising, and limited skins and boats were much more rare. Fish also began asking the community more questions and what the community actually wanted. And the community responded. This made the community feel like they had a real voice in Fish. Though Fish went through some pretty rough times, I don't think Fish would be where it is today without the mistakes it made. The development team learned from their past mistakes and apologized for it. Even though it was hardly their fault, they knew what had to be done. In my opinion, Fish is in a really good spot right now, and I actively enjoy playing the game. Sure, it still may carry some of the Do Big aspects of the game, but it feels better knowing if I'm buying something in Fish, I'm actively supporting the Fish dev team and not those greedy little Do Bigs. And because of Fish and what it is now, I'm able to make videos about the game. My first really big video that hit 100,000 views was on Fish. And if Fish hadn't changed from when it was in Do Big's hands, I wouldn't be where I am today. So thank you, Fish. On behalf of the entire Fish community and myself, and especially Nate and Nick for everything you and the team has done for the community. Through thick and thin in the past 2 years, Fish has turned out to be a very good game and has made one of the greatest comebacks in Roblox game history. And thank you, the viewer, for watching this video. I'm just Pico, and thank you for watching.